So welcome to our Monkchat radio program. And my name is Phra Vanh.
And I am Boon.
Okay, so today radio program we have several questions that we are going to share about the Buddha's teaching, especially about the Buddha's teaching. And we are going to make clear and according to what we have learned, what we have read, how we understand about the Buddha's teaching. So today episode we have very interesting questions. So the first one is about, is Buddha a loving kindness person? And the second one is, what does Buddhism view about rebirth, heaven, and the hell? And the last one is also related to the heaven and the hell, especially about our action. Is everything that happens in our life meant to be, or it just happens by itself? So the reason that we pick up this kind of questions because many people are curious about this kind of thing, and sometimes people have curious. This is what I understand is true or not. So that's why we want to make clear and to make it easier to understand, like the first question. So as we have heard from the social media, some people they have misunderstanding about the Buddha before he left the palace, because he have to leave home, to leave his family in order to cultivate himself to become the Buddha or the better person. And that's why we'll talk about it today. So the first question that we are going to talk is about, is Buddha a loving kindness person or not?
So this is very interesting question.
Right.
That's asked by many people, So like last week we did talk about the history of the Buddha and who is the Buddha.
Yes.
And if you have heard about the life of the Buddha, you might hear about like when at the time when he left the palace.
Right.
So he left his wife. He left his
Parents.
His parent, his son.
Yes.
So many people question that, is he really did the right way to left those people,
Right.
and who are his close people or his beloved. So that's why we will bring that case to clarify that what exactly reason that he has to leave the palace.
Right.
And it is really a terrible thing that he living from the palace is a wrong thing or not. So that's why that came to be a question that is he a really loving kinded person and to do so. Yeah.
Yes, I think it is not easy for the Buddha to decide to make a decision, such a big decision. And if we come back and think about ourselves, it's not easy as well, right? To give the parents to ordain as Buddhist monks and live at the temple. But definitely shown that before the Buddha, he resigned this thing. It was something that happened with him before. because this is very big deal, big decisions, and he always think about the goal and thinking about the benefits for the other people, that he will come back later and help the people. So I think that it would have something happen before, and his goal is much more bigger than the present processing.
Yeah. So many people might think, especially for general people, might think that that is not the right thing to do so. But imagine like a person who is a prince. Everything is perfect, living in the palace, but he decided to leave all that kind of properties, nice place, very how to say, luxurious life,
Right.
and give up all of this thing, and went for ordained as a monk and live as a simple person, making food from people. So I think this is another point of view that we have to come back and consider, that this kind of person, he really have the intention, a bad intention to do so, or to let go of the selfish we call it selfish desire, and think of people as a whole. So because when he went forward, he didn't think of himself only, but he thought of people as a whole and all living beings. How to find a way to sacrifice himself. I can say that he sacrificed himself to find the way, and after he discovered the way, then he came back and helped people, and that was his intention. That's why he first has to let go of something, to get up something, to let go of like small, like self, his own, his how to say, his comfortable life, for the happiness of the people. So, and later he came back and helped the people, even in his city and his family.
Yes, I personally also admire the Buddha very much. I think what he have done and what he made the big decision is very useful for the people nowadays. So we can say that he is not a selfish person. He made this decision because of the people, because he always think about the people, and like we can see nowadays, so many thousands of millions of people get benefit from the Buddha's teaching. I think it's not if we compare to what he have done to the successful people, it's the same. But the Buddha's teaching is much longer than the successful people. So we can see that how we can bring about the Buddha's teaching to ourselves and the beloved ones.
Yeah.
Because the Buddha, he always teach us the truth, a lot of truth. Like what we are doing right now is also considered as the truth. We are speaking, we are thinking. So this is the easiest example to understand. And what else? So yeah.
Yeah. So this point, and actually, I would like to conclude that, imagine in a community,
Right.
and there's a person who sacrifice himself to go out from the community to find the, how to say, medicine. Suppose that everybody in a country or in a community got sick, in suffering, and there is a person who sacrificed himself to go out from the community or go from the country to find that kind of medicine and come back and help people. At the same way, of course, he had to leave something behind, and also and when he thought about the benefit of the people as a whole a lot, so he decided to go out. Then whether he will get the medicine or not, so this kind of people showing the spirit, the big heart to help the people, rather like focus on oneself and for self happiness. And so that's why this is another comparison that maybe can answer the question that why the Buddha has to left his family, his wife, and his son. The answer is to leave this behind for the benefit of the people as a whole. Like a person who are seeking for a medicine to come back and help the people in the community.
Oh, yeah. So you made me think of something that is about the dedication.
Dedication.
So in the past time, so many dedicated people, our ancestors, that they have to go out and fight with other people because they want to save their own country, save their own borders. So they don't think about oneself, but on the other hand, they think about the people who are living in the village and their families and their citizens. So we can compare that. Whatever that the Buddha designed, or even ourselves, if we dedicate ourselves to the bhikkhu, to the bhikkhus, or to the large of people, this can consider that a good deeds, a good actions. Okay, do you want to say more, or do you want to move on to the next question?
Okay, I think better to move to the next question. I think it's clear enough for this question, and actually.
Okay.
And if you have any question, you can leave your question on our Facebook page.
All right.
And then we'll pick it up some interesting question and bring it here and answer your question.
All right.
Okay, let's move to the next one.
So we move to the next one. Next one is about the rebirth and heaven and health.
Hell and heaven.
Yeah. What does Buddhism view about rebirth, heaven, and hell? This is such a big question, right?
Yeah, and actually, rebirth, or like some people may say that the reincarnation and rebirth. First, I would like to clarify the word reincarnation and rebirth. Some people say reincarnation, some people say rebirth, and actually reincarnation and rebirth are different. Yes. So rebirth is mostly we use in Buddhism, but reincarnation you see in Hinduism.
Hinduism and also Western.
Yes. We use reincarnation. Reincarnation is about a certain living being that reborn again and again.
Oh.
Like if you were reborn as a human, next life you will reborn as a human.
Oh.
Yeah, and maybe it could be reborn as another form or another living being, but the difference is it's only the form that's changing, but the mind is still there. But the mind is a core one. We call it in Hinduism, they call it Atman. Atman is a universal soul or something. That is a permanent thing. And actually, in Buddhism, we don't have that kind of concept, because everything is like impermanently changing, even the mind. That is not a permanent mind that move on and living in another form to another form to another form. It's not that way. So that's why reincarnation mostly are used in Hinduism, but the word rebirth is used in Buddhism.
So what about rebirth mean in Buddhism?
That's kind of tough. And actually, when we talk about the rebirth, when we talk about rebirth, mostly we think of next life and past life. So that's why sometimes it's hard to explain. But anyway, it doesn't mean that we cannot how to say experience or rebirth. And what it said in Buddhism, and actually commonly is about the different realm or different world, and that's what many people or what many Buddhist people understand about the hells and heaven and many different state of the heaven,
yes,
and many different realm or many different world of the hell, or we call it suffering world. Yeah. So rebirth, hell and heaven. So some people may ask, how can we be sure that hell and heaven exists, or maybe next life and this life exists? And actually, this question is very tricky, maybe sometime. But then actually, that is not beyond to the Buddha wisdom, or maybe the many venerable monks who had experience of practicing. So I heard about the answer of this question. How can we realize that heaven exit or hell exit, or next life exit, or this life exist? There was a person. This is a story, and actually by Ajahn Chah. There's a person came to him and asked about is next is how to say, does next life exist or past life exist? And what he answered, and did how to say, does the yesterday exist or tomorrow exist?
Right.
Yeah. And he said that person and said that yes, yesterday exist and tomorrow is going to exit. And Ajahn Chah said again, asked that person that can you show me yesterday right now, and can you show me show me tomorrow?
I think we cannot.
Yeah, of course, at the same thing. So when we talk about next life, past life, we know that yesterday it exists.
Exactly.
And tomorrow, of course,
yes,
will exist, because today is the tomorrow of yesterday. So that's why, and actually, this point, we don't see what's going to happen tomorrow, So or maybe after 10 years,
right,
or even next life. So that's why, but we do know that it exists, but we cannot bring tomorrow here to show, or to show you here or something. So that's why when we talk about heaven and hell exist or not, and actually heaven and hell, and actually it's a state of mind. And there's many different views about the heaven and hell, and actually if we talk about heaven and hell, normally it is state of mind. So we can experience of suffering world or hell in this present moment. Okay, if you investigate yourself and investigate your own feeling, mind, and your own mind and your own thought, like the feeling of heaven when you feel
Angry.
angry, and that is the feeling of uh, hell. So that means when you are every time when you are angry, that means you are in the hell. Because inside you feel hot, you feel angry, you feel, how to say, to threaten other people or to hurt, to harm other people. That is the characteristic of the we call it hell being. So your mind, your state of mind, are already reborn in the hell.
Right.
But your form, maybe you are now a human being, but your mind state already there. How to say, hell and hell being already. And another comparison, like when you feel greedy, when you want to steal something, you want to you take something that is not given, or you just take something that the owner didn't give the permission. The feeling of greedy. That is, you feel like wanting, struggling. So that kind of feeling is also the feeling of we call it hungry ghost. Or we hungry, want to get something. So that's why in the suffering world, we call another suffering world called hungry ghost world. So for those who are greedy, who have a strong desire, will reborn in this world.
Right.
So hungry ghost. So that's why take yourself that every time when you feel greedy, or maybe you steal something, or you get something that's not given, so your mind always like you greedy. So that is the feeling of in the suffering world.
Right.
We call it hungry ghost or something. And another one we call delusion. Delusion is another we call dilute mind. So the mind in the animal, we call the animal realm. So this kind of being mostly are lack of we call lack of lack of ashamed of doing bad. So this animal don't have the feeling of shame. They don't care who is who is his mother or who is his daughter. They mixing. There's no civilization, and also this kind of being mostly live by their instinct. Which is not like a human being. We have a shame. When we do bad, we have the compassion. We have the we call the feeling of shaming. When we do bad, we feel greedy. We feel guilt about what we do, and that is a characteristic of the human being, which is different from animal. So that's why for those who die with delusion, mostly we Buddhist people consider that person will reborn in the animal realm or animal world. And this is the comparison about the hell according to the Buddhist scripture, and actually.
Yes. So I think what Phra Somboun mentioned is quite clear for our audiences to understand, and about the point of view in Buddhism and what is the Buddha's teaching about the health, heaven, and rebirth or reincarnation. So I will conclude about what Phra Somboun have said. So the word heaven or the next life or the word rebirth or reincarnation is already existed, even though we cannot confirm that it's real or not. But if we think carefully or think rationally, if they were not yesterday, how we can have today? And if we don't have today, how can we have tomorrow? So I think this kind of thing can confirm that the heaven or the rebirth is already existed. And for the heaven and the hell is about the state of mind. So heaven is very similar to the happiness. If we are living in the human realms or human world, so once we feel happy, we feel satisfied with our good deeds or good actions to the people, to oneself, then we feel happy, right? And when we feel sad or we feel shameful, we feel anxious because we did something wrong or because we stole something from ungiven people. And so we can see that how does the feeling look like. And it's like we are living in the health realm. Okay, so I think for our audiences, they would understand what we have been talking so far. And Phra Somboun, Samani Somboun, do you want to add more about this question, or you want to move on?
Yeah, I just want to add a little more about the maybe talking about heaven. Okay, I've mentioned about the suffering world, now happy world, or we call heaven. And actually, heaven is it's another state of mind. Actually, according to the teaching in Buddhism, according to the many scripture, it mentioned in many different level of the heaven as well.
6 level.
The 6th level and 20 prom. As,
32 ภูมิ
yeah, of something like that. And actually, I want to say that in actually the quality of for those who are going to reborn in the happy world, mostly there are two quality that this kind of being, this kind of people have is to being afraid of doing bad, and being afraid of being ashamed to oneself. You know, when you do something bad and you feel, oh, this is not a good thing, the right thing. That is the quality of for those who reborn in the heaven. At the state of mind, when you see somebody in suffer and you feel sorry for, you feel compassion to this person, that means you have the quality of this kind of being. So all in all, I want to say that naturally, whether suffering world or the happy world, it is still in the samsara or in the circles of life. Right. I want to say that this realm is not a permanent realm. Heaven is not a permanent realm. Suffering world or hell also is not a permanent realm. And our life will continue as a circle, according to our own actions, our own karma. You know. So if we do the good action, if we have a good action or good deed, good action, we will be reborn. And that kind of action we call karmic energy will lead reborn in the better world or better state of mind. If we do something bad, of course it will lead us to the lower place. So the Buddha said there's two kind of human being. And the first kind of human being come as a dark person and go as a dark person. And the second kind of person come as a dark person but go as a wise or light person. And the third kind of person, a person who come as a bright person, and go as a dark person. Oh. And the last one come as a bright person and go as a bright person. So he compared that somebody come as a bad person. Maybe some people was born in a very difficult situation, and maybe sometimes he used to do something wrong, come as a dark person like Onkulimala. He was born as a and become how to say the killer.
Yes.
But finally he กลับใจ what is in English
come back to the
yeah
to be
he
the
come
good
back
person.
กลับใจ in Thai and actually and he come back to be
a good person or whatever.
a good person. He became a monk and then he finally attained the nirvana or arahanta, even though he used to be a killer. And this kind of person we call it come as a dark person and go as a bright person. And the second one come as a dark person and go as a dark person. So this kind of person come and in life was born in the maybe in the poor family, in the very difficult situation, and living in the surrounded by the bad people, of course, and never do anything good. And finally, when he died, he also go to the suffering world again. This kind of dark come as a dark and go as a darkness.
Right.
And the third person like come as a bright person but go as a dark person. Some people reborn in the maybe very good family who have the morality, who practice Buddhism, but even though he or she reborn in sheltered family but never have the mind or intention to do good, never follow what other people do good, even the other people, the member in the family or in the community do, but he himself never want to do this kind of good thing, but keep doing something bad thing. So even though the reborn in the big family but never do good thing, so when he die he will go to the suffering world. This is come as a bright, go as a dark. And the last kind of person come as a bright person, go as a bright person. And this kind of person reborn in a good family, in a good environment, in a good society. And also he also when he reborn in the good family, in a good environment, and this support him to do good thing.
Right.
And he cultivate himself to be a good person, better good person. When he die, so when he reborn in a good family, and when he die, he go to the better place. And this is the full kind of a person that the Buddha compare when we reborn as a human being.
It's very good comparison and good answer. So actually we have one more question, and I think Phra Somboun already mentioned about it. So the last question that you already answered is about, is everything that happens in our life meant to be or just happens by itself? So in actually the Buddhism we don't think in or we don't believe in fate or destination. It means that we can change our destination. It doesn't mean that you were born like this and then you will be like this. No, in Buddhism we didn't talk about. We talk about the cultivation or developing or progressing oneself. So whatever place, whatever situation that you are living right now, you can change your destination. You can change your fate, and don't believe that if some people look down on you like you have to be like this. So don't believe them. You have to believe yourself that you can change yourself to become a better person, to become the successful person who can understand the Buddha's teaching and understand yourself and all successful in your work. So finally, it comes to the end of our Monkchat life, and yeah, so please follow up on Monkchat radio program and Monkchat live, Monkchat talk. If you have any questions, please feel to leave it, and then we will pick up and answer to you later. So finally, thank you much.
Okay, thank you very much for watching and listening to our radio today, and for those who are watching us on Facebook's live. And again, thank you very much for keep in touch
Yes.
with our live. And I want to talk about the if you have any question or any wondering about Buddhism, please leave your question on our Facebook page. We will bring your question and clarify on if you have any wondering. So it would be very kind of you, and it would be useful for us and also for the others who are watching and listening, who are interested in Buddhism. So that's why it would be good. So to come here and share together. And finally, I would like to wish all of you who are watching and listening to have a happy life and to be free from all the physical and mental suffering. And I'll see you next time. Okay, bye bye. Take care.
Okay.